Happy Saturday. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gotzo, and welcome to Velocity Online Racing's coverage of Round 2 of Season 15 of the Velocity Online Racing Signature Series, the IndyCar Championship, as we come to you today from Mexico City for the very first time in the inaugural running of the VOR Grand Prix of Mexico, the first of 3 road races this season, and the first and only non-road course sprint race that is on the calendar. Hot conditions here today. Qualifications currently underway, or getting ready to get underway here on the historic course. As always, joining me in the booth is the czar of the iRacing broadcast booth, the great Justin Prince. Justin, a little bit has happened since last time everyone was with us, who we thought was the winner in last week's race. And yes, we did say that results are unofficial. Last week's race did have a change in the top of the order. So last week's winner, Jesper Dahlgren, goes to the end of the lead lap, and Liam O'Sullivan inherits the lead due to a penalty. And that kind of shakes up the points. Even though we're just one race into the championship, the way we left Fontana is entirely different the way that we arrive in Mexico City.
Yes, indeed. Things definitely shaken up, and result of that was O'Sullivan getting the win on the points tallies there. Glenworth also getting a second place run out of the points tallies with a big buffer to Mateus Strauss. So you're talking about, so far, a bit of a swing, to say the very least, in terms of your championship front runners. But many of these drivers are going to get shaken up regardless here today, because you're talking about road course racing, and some of those top drivers are not as confident, we heard, like Glendy say, when it comes to going left and right, especially at a track where it's going to be very twitchy for some of these drivers on the track.
It's mentioned, funny that you mentioned that. This is, we are on the historical track, and this track is very similar in configuration to a track that a long time, what we kind of know historically as one of the best, if not the best, oval racer in the history of IndyCar racing and real IndyCar racing. That's Rick Mears. He won here twice. So this is not an awfully technical course, and those with the oval discipline can do well here. But sometimes, you know, the oval guys, when they get here on the schedule, they just kind of circle the 3 or 4 dates that are on the schedule that are road course races, and they just kind of make up their mind that these are the races that I just need to kind of drive to survive, to coin a term that's been used on Netflix. And then strive to succeed in the other races that are back on the ovals. So we might see some of those oval guys actually come to the front because of the configuration of this course. I do want to shout out one name that does have experience at least on a certain configuration of this track, and that's just the current Grand Prix configuration. Hunter Ingrave ran on the current Grand Prix configuration in the Elite Racing League and finished 3rd in their race here, their last season. So he's really the only driver here that has a great deal of experience, or at least one race experience, on kind of this course. Justin, kind of looking at the things right now, qualifications currently underway. Group 2 is currently going. Anybody that you kind of see out there that might be of someone that might go to the top here on Group 2? I'm kind of circling and paying attention to Kostik Solwich, who's making his debut in the series, his season debut for this race. He finished 3rd last year in the championship.
Yes, and right now we're seeing drivers really struggle. I have to note here, Gary, with some of the marbles, there's a lot of dust all over the racetrack. I've noticed where dirt is being picked up, in particular down to this part of the racetrack. You'll see little puffs coming to the rear tires. That caused a spin for Jesper Van Grewist. the 27 went around because of how much these cars are struggling to grip up. And remember, when it comes to the main groups here, Gary, they're having to run on the black wall tires. If they run the reds too early, as in before the final shootout, guess what? You get no chance to start. You better make sure you're on the right compound for quality.
Vogelzang currently goes to the top with the best laps so far, as initial laps are coming in right now, the timing and scoring. This is a 2.64 mile course, fixed setup provided by the league. IndyCar, under the lineage of kart and then the Champ Car World Series, ran at Mexico City 8 times. The first time in 1980 and 81, and again in the 2000s, from 2002 to 2007. The series is raced here under 4 different mileage configurations in the 8 races. The most recent being a slightly bigger configuration than what we're racing on today, a 2.774 mile Pista 1 configuration, which was offered by the facility from 07 to 14. Today we'll be using the 2.64 historic Grand Prix configuration in iRacing that has been in use since 2015. None of the records that I'm about to give you are applicable at all, but they do represent the record at the time when kart last ran here. So the track record here when kart did run here is held by Will Power, actually. Still one of those drivers is still around. He had a 124.5 in 2007, which actually turned out to be his 4th career pole at the time. And keep in mind, Will is the all-time pole winner in IndyCar history with 71, so that just kind of gives you an idea how long ago that was set. But the all-time wins leaders here at Mexico City in IndyCar history, Seb Bourdais has 3. Rick Mears, that's the weird one you don't really hear often on road course races. He has 2. Paul Tracy, Justin Wilson, and Kenny Breck has 1. And there's another also oval racer that we don't talk about very often. Kenny Breck had pretty good luck here, as we are still currently going on with Group 1 qualifying. I think Group 2 is now out there right now, as I'm seeing Group 1 is still out there, and I'm seeing Julian with some time, Silvazzi with some time, Law with some time, and Clegg now at the provisional top of the line, top of the charts with the provisional pole. Justin, we still having difficulties out there with controlling these cars? Is that dust and that debris getting removed at all, or does it just seem to be lingering?
It seems to be almost lingering a little bit. I've not seen as big of the dust puffs in particular compared to earlier on that we've seen in 4, 5, and 6. But as some of these drivers finish up the grouping here, in particular, the big thing to me is going to be how the balance is going to be. We're into Group 2 now for the qualifications. That's where you'll find drivers like Liam O'Sullivan, like James Watson, like Jesper Dahlgren, like Luis Nunez, who are a part of that pairing here. And this is where I expect to see some of the speeds pick up, because we're talking about in some of those cases, some of the drivers that have a lot of pro experience and know how to adapt. I'm curious in particular how O'Sullivan does here today, and we have a crash!
He got right across the nose of everybody going in. I think that's turn 1. So O'Sullivan's going to have to do a reset as we see other drivers taking evasive maneuvers into that first turn 1 complex area. The notable driver on the track here, and he has not taken any time yet, and I believe he's in this group, but he might not be out there going to take any time at all, is Luis Nunez. He will be serving a penalty that's a holdover penalty from last season, and he didn't serve it, or he didn't race at Fontana. And he's going to have to start from pit road, and that's kind of one of those pro drivers you were talking about, and he's going to make a run from the rear of the field to the front. That's going to be something to watch, Justin.
Yeah, you're talking about for him going to have to make up all sorts of time. I don't know if you can win from as far back as he's going to be from the pit lane, but he can definitely surely still score a good point. His practice speed for reference was the fastest out of anybody by a 1/10 of a second. So Nunez, I think, is going to be fast. It's just going to be how much he can make up ground, and obviously not amongst the drivers that we will see really rumble forward on the racetrack here for the session.
There is precedent in Velocity Online Racing IndyCar history of a driver starting for the rear of the field due to a penalty and storming his way to the front and later winning and dominating that race. And I can't recall what season. I want to see season 3, season 4. Isaac Morris had a penalty where he had to start at the rear of the field. And by the end of 5 laps, inside of 5 laps or so, at the race was at Montreal. He started for the rear of the field and had the lead and then pulled away and dominated that race. So it is possible, but I would say the racecraft of this current pool of drivers that is in this current season, season 15 of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship, is a far cry from kind of the driver pool that was back there in season 3 or season 4, if I remember. I was in the lineup, so heck, if I was in the lineup, the driver pool now is a lot better. So, so maybe we will see a bit of a different result for Luis Nunez, former series champion and a Pro Series driver. They had their first race this week at Long Beach on Thursday, but he is in the lineup and will start from the rear of the field due to a penalty. Currently, right now, about 6 minutes left here in qualifying, as we're going to go to another session after this. But Clegg, Solwedge, Lal Eftink, and Solvazi, your top 5 provisionally. And there is Hunter Ingrave, one of the names that I told you that you might want to keep an eye on through this race. He was 6th. He gets dropped to 7th as O'Sullivan keeps the car underneath him and puts together a good lap and brings himself up into the top 5.
Good spot right now, but in particular, I'm noticing a lot of drivers yet to even put up a time with some of the invalidated laps that they put down on the circuit. A couple of these competitors really testing the balance of the limits here. There's a lot of exemptions for this group. In particular, you're talking a lot of off-track chance in turn 6. Of course, the S's and 8 and 9, but even more so, even the run to the start and finish line. You go off the edge of the red and white curbing up to the start and finish line, you can invalidate your lap or get it off track just that easy. And that's going to be an easy spot with how much speed you're going to carry down the front straightaway here.
Yeah, extremely long straightaway here with this current configuration. One of the longest straightaways they'll be on all year long or all season long. And remember, this is the first race for these drivers with the new hybrid power unit. So they will have the additional boost of the hybrid on top of push to pass. So we might see some late lunges going into turn 1 here down this extremely long straightaway where the draft will play a role. Looking at the conditions on the racetrack right now, remember, we are at altitude at this track. This is one of the highest race courses altitude-wise that they will race on all season long. If not, this is probably the highest altitude track they've been on in all of iRacing. It's 119 degrees on the track temperature. Came down about 10 degrees from where it was in practice, 81 on the ambient. But the biggest thing, Justin, is the altitude. I'm hearing from the drivers, this is even going back to the Elite Racing League when I covered their race here. The car handles a little bit differently. The power range and the horsepower necessarily is not there because of the thinner air and the less oxygen you have at this altitude here at Mexico City.
Yes, indeed. And that's going to be a major factor for a lot of these drivers as here come the drivers in the reds. This is your pole position shootout now. And your top 6 cars coming on track. Well, 5 of the 6. Fraser Clegg has yet to come out of the pit lane. Everybody else has to get a move on. They may get a lap, if not a very tight second one.
Yeah, this is your fast 6 shootout, and the time that Clegg turned, and I'll get this information here out for everybody, is a 1:17.4. Solwedge was a 1:17.55. Ingrave was a 1:17.599. O'Sullivan 1:17.7. Lal 1:17.7. And Eftink a 1:17.7. So Clegg is going to have to turn some times. I don't think he can sit on that for a 1:17. Yeah, he is out. So he's going to have to get out there and turn some laps. But somewhere along the lines, Justin, a 1:17.492. Solwedge and Ingrave are going to have to find a little bit of time, but not nearly as much time as O'Sullivan, Lal, and Eftink will. They're going to have those red sidewalled, softer alternate Firestone tires at their disposal for this run. Is that going to equate to about 3/10 to what those drivers are going to need to get to the top?
I think, honestly, yes, because when I've seen racing, at least from my experience, I'm not sure what you're going to see from the past, Gary, I've noticed in the short term, the speeds are that much more rapid by at least half a second to nearly a second on the Reds compared to the Blackwall tires. The Blackwall tires, the Prime, is better for the long run in terms of tire life, but the Reds can last a long time in terms of raw speed before they fall off in the long run. They're a really good fire-off tire in terms of the short distance. For drivers, they better be precise if they want to be able to set the pole in these Reds.
You're right, and they're only going to have about 3 laps or less to do that. But remember, you have your out lap, your flying lap, and if you could get another one in, you'll get that third lap. But the longer you go, and you talked about it, the less effective these red tires are, the harder you push them into a second lap for time. But we will see. Currently on the racetrack is your top 6, Clegg, Solwedge, Ingrave, O'Sullivan, Lal, and Eftink. Another good showing for Altena Autosports. 3 cars from their stable in the Fast 6, and Lal to the top with a 117 flat. O'Sullivan into the 116s with a 116.9. And there is that improvement of time you were talking about, Justin. Good call.
Oh, and a crash!
Big shunt for Eftink coming off the final corner in quarter 12, and he doesn't get to the start-finish line, and he is going to run out of time. That is going to pretty much lock him into 6th spot.
We're just talking about this with the producer, Howie Burrows. Tight radius, went wide, went across the curbing. That destabilized the car. Hard contact, and it breaks the car. Don't think, and he definitely didn't put up time. Clegg is down on the pole, though, in the 116.6s.
Clegg ups it to a 116.679. He is 3/10 over O'Sullivan. We saw Clegg having a really good race at Fontana last week, Justin. And, that's an indication, well, yeah, it's a pretty good oval racer, but, man, we had no idea what this guy has in store for us on these road courses.
Yeah, that was a really good qualifying effort for him, but a couple of the drivers still trying to stretch. I think for the most part, the session's come to a close, except for a couple that will get a chance to build another run. Looks like no changes, though. O'Sullivan, Lau, Solwedge holding on to 2nd through 4th on the grid.
Line laps are counting, and I think that is it. Everyone has taken the checkered flag, and that is going to conclude qualifications for our inaugural Grand Prix of Mexico. And we will get a starting lineup here very, very shortly.
Yeah, well, the drivers, remember, do have a run time, actually, of another minute or so to go here, Gary. But I will say this. You're talking about a fair amount of good speed showcased up at the front. Your iRains up at the front, some around the 3,000 to 4,000 range. You're talking about drivers like Dahlgren, who are going to be down in 9th, for example. Saucier, who is up and down the road courses in 15th. A lot of drivers that have showed in different leagues some good pace on a road course going left and right. Going to have to put a lot of effort in to try and claw the way up this starting grid coming up.
We do have the grid ready. We will bring that up and show you, everybody, the starting grid today from Mexico City in the inaugural Grand Prix of Mexico. Clegg with his first career Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship pole, the 116.9. And that is 2/10 faster than the next closest car. And that is Liam O'Sullivan, your points leader and ruled winner from last week. But he sure would still like to take the checkered flag on his own right here today. He is on the outside of the front row. Hunter Ingrave will start 3rd. Watch him. He finished 3rd in the Elite Racing League's P1 IndyCar Series Championship a season ago from this racetrack. Lal is in right next to him in row 2. Solwedge, who finished 3rd in last year's championship, is in row 3. Eftink with the big shunt has been locked into the 6th spot. Then we move on back to row 4, Silvazzi and Altena. And I suspect Both of these guys both have road course wins in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship history. We will see them come to the front. Not with a bad start, and you mentioned Jesper Dahlgren, who is going to recover from losing the win at Fontana. He is not, he doesn't really consider himself much of a road racer, but his road craft is always improving, and he is starting 9th here today. We'll see if he's able to work up any higher in the order. And then Vogelsang, we'll watch him too. He had some pace during practice and qualifications. He lines up in 10th. Moving on, we got 44 Nation Christensen right there in row 6, and Dufresne on the outside of row 6. Tim Bree and Chris Rice in row 7. Saucier and Vince in row 8. Charpentier and Stock in row 9. Row 10, we got Cannert and Fiolis. Then we move on back to the last portion of this field. Dan Inch right next to him as our defending series champion. Again, he says he is still learning on road courses, and these are these races that he circled on a lot. We talked about circling on this calendar, just you drive to survive here. That's Clindy's going to be his strategy here. He is way back in row 11. We'll see how his day unfolds from back in the pack. Then we got Muriani and Ortiz in row 12. Then James Watson right next to him, a name we're going to be watching coming up through the order, and we're going to see how many spots he improves. On lap 1 is Luis Nunez, former series champion. He lines up on the outside of row 13. And then finally on row 14, we got Seigers and Gruthist. They round out the remainder of this pretty good showing today for the league and the drivers. 28 cars here on this very historical road course in the middle of Mexico City. We are not using the baseball stadium, unfortunately. So both of my sports worlds are not going to combine today directly, but they will use the outside of it in this kind of oval configuration as we watch the cars move here on the backstretch, coming to turn 12 to take the green flag. And we see dust being kicked up still back there on the back straightaway.
Going to be a factor for the grip levels with the marbles and the dust buildup, but here we go. Pace car ready to rumble. The longest run, one of the longest to turn 1 in the races, ready to go.
Green flag is out, and look at them spread. They know that they still have a long run down to turn 1. They're going to try to get the one on one another. No one using push to pass quite yet, or the hybrid. There might be hybrid uses, but they're going to use that hybrid real quick. We're going 3 wide for a second spot behind the leader. And there's Liam O'Sullivan blinking in and out of existence, but he holds on to first. Clegg gets into turn 1 as your leader. We're still side by side with Solwich and Law for third. And side by side behind them is F-Tink, and that is Sobazi for 4th.
Law getting the elbows out actually with Solwich also as Clegg tries to hold on up at the front. Watch though in this part of the racetrack, in through the tight braking areas. This is where you'll end up seeing the back snap
we got a car
around.
sideways in the back of the pack. Not sure who that is. That is Christian Ortiz. He went sideways, and Dan Inch had to take evasive maneuver, but that was going through turn 2.
Did I mention he was the one who said the back end caught slides? He just went for a slide right on cue, didn't he? But
yes.
You know who's gone up already 4 from the pit road and gained an initial 3 spots? Luis Nunez. He's 22nd on the opening lap. He is flying. He is making a pass a corner already because where he came on a pit road, because there were so many cars with the roll to the green flag, he only came because he was able to brake so late compared to everyone else. He gained 10 car lengths in turn 1 as we have some drivers serving penalties. Yeah, Ingrave.
He's up on the jacks. Hunter Ingrave on pit road. One of the names I said to watch, and I don't know if maybe he had damage unseen or something, but he's coming to pit road. I don't think we have comms into the stewards, and I don't hear a penalty, so it's possible he had damage, so he comes in for an early stop. That's not going to help him any because he's still going to do at least probably 2 stops to get out of this. Contact with Solwich, I'm hearing.
Yeah, look at this with the 18 machine with Tink. Tries to make it stick on the outside, gets very twitchy, counter steers, but then right here, tries to hook the curb. It still slides into the side pod of the 95. That car was not gripped up at all. Remember though, One thing we haven't touched upon, look at the rainbow of colors. You have a mixture of tire compounds, the primes for a majority of the field, but a lot of drivers on the red wall tires to where they remember with those alternates are faster, but that tire wear is going to be higher, and it's going to impact how the pit strategy plays out for them when they go in the inverse for their tire compounds later.
So the strategy is for Lal and F-Tank, in case you're wondering, and those are your highest ranked alternate compound tire drivers right now at the moment. Their goal is to push as hard as possible in the early stages of this stint and make up as many positions as they can and try to put as much space as between themselves and the car behind them. That way, when the tire delta trade-off eventually occurs and the prime tires begin to wear better at the end of a stint than the prime and the alternate tires, that they can hold off and make it to the first pit stop without losing position. And we got a car. Vogelzang.
There's all sorts of cars with damage there. Kaner around. Now Seegers is crashing because Glenworth just got ran over. Look at this on the first part. This just sparked a melee of 6+ cars.
Yeah, we got really tight in there, and it looked like, was Jesper Dahlgren involved? Yes, just Jesper Dahlgren has lost his rear wing. Clindy has lost his rear wing as well. So 2 of the Rogue Racing cars need to come to pit road right away and get new rear wings. And front wing for Jesper Dahlgren.
Yeah, Charpentier, you see the contact, a part of there that also picked a meatball flag from that. So did Bray.
Jesper Dahlgren into the attenuator on pit road.
Yeah, let's take a look. We'll say when you have that much damage, it's so hard to get into pit road here.
Christensen on pit road with some damage.
Yeah, that just took out so many different cars here at this point. 3-4 cars. This is with the attenuator. Just couldn't get it to stop. Just carried a lot of speed, and they nearly had a couple others follow Jesper into that attenuator. That's how much they just slid trying to get onto the brakes.
We might have a possible DC on our hands, or getting close to a possible DC on our hands. Liam O'Sullivan keeps blinking in and out of existence. Amon Lal has picked up at the position, moved him to second. Remember, Lal with those softer tires, he needs to do that, but pulling away up front by 2.8 seconds. A little bit less now as they go through the oval portion, turn 12 of this race course. Clegg is pulling away.
And that is on the black wall tires too. That's, I think, look at this though. I mean, I guess my prediction was way off. I was thinking maybe top half. I was expecting to get to 10th in 5 laps.
The Nunez is now up to 10th, up 16 spots. You would say, hey, he's got to be your biggest gainer at the moment. Not so fast, my friend. Look at P8, Jasper van Gruthest. He is up 20 spots very quietly, making his VOR IndyCar Championship debut here today. And wow, what a debut. Started 28th, currently is 8th, as he is your biggest gainer at the moment, as he has a full head of steam up into the top 10. Right behind him, Julian Altena like to run him down. And this is going to be a good barometer of Jasper's, his racecraft, is he's now up against one of the longtime veterans of this IndyCar Series. Julian, can he hold him off? We will see what Jesper is made of in that car.
That's the curious part, because that was a car that wasn't a part of those who set qualifying times. Really been able to thrive here, but was about to say with you were just about to say?
He pulled right on over for Julian, so he made that pass a lot easier for Julian, and that was for 8th spot. So now I'm beginning to wonder, when we looked at the strategies that you could employ for this particular race, we think a stint is right around 24 laps. However, if you save 2 to 3 laps worth of fuel, you can do this in 1. Maybe we got some one-stoppers out there. What do you think?
With the run estimated to be 24, you're looking at 5 laps to go on top-offs. That's a lot of gas you're going to have to save with the fuel mapping. But Jesper just dropped the Nunez.
Yeah,
Jesper,
he dropped it too, which again makes me wonder that he didn't really seem to be fighting. It makes me wonder that maybe he has decided that he is going to do the one-stop strategy. So to get to the one-stopper, you need to do 26 to 27 laps on the first stint here, and then you should be able to save in the second half of the race to make it home if you get to that 27-lap window. A two-stop, the window opens at lap 17. A three-stop, if someone's going to attempt to do a three-stop, that's probably not likely. The window is going to open here in about 6 to 7 laps at lap 13, 14. But up front, we continue to watch what we see is a battle here between F-Tink and O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan now down another position. He is down to fourth. Is he losing the car? Or just having a hard time here on this racetrack? Again, not a lot of races on IndyCar, on iRacing here at this racetrack, unless your league has been into it. This is a very new racetrack on the service, so a little inexperienced maybe for Liam, or maybe, again, he's on a strategy, or is the blinking possibly playing a role in his pace right now?
I don't think the technical side's playing a role into the pace. I think quite simply, he's just being passed by those on the red tires in part. Just losing a little bit of ground. His average pace is compared to F-Tink in terms of tempo. I think for some of the drivers, like you see with Brian Saucier and some of the others, though, they've already passed the clipping point compared to some of those on the Blackwell tires. They are still, some of these drivers, still running about the exact same time. So the Reds look at the push to pass. They're trying to push to defend. Now the 18 here to hold off O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan had a longer push.
He's going to have a better run. He's going to send it to the inside and turn one on F-Tink to get the position back. Two teammates racing for third spot and give it to Liam O'Sullivan, who moves himself back up to third. I got to wonder, the red tires, I think we might be at that point where they begin to start falling off, and that pass looked a little bit easier than normal. That we see drivers battling it out going into turn one. But again, these are two teammates giving each other a little bit of extra leeway as O'Sullivan continues to blink out.
Yeah, as long as the connection holds up, I think he'll be okay. He just has to avoid getting a connection flag that we've seen so much now on the iRacing service. But right now, I think we've kind of reached that point I was trying to say. The blacks are quicker, just by a little bit. Those reds only lasted 7-8 laps in terms of that big boost. And we're starting to see the marginal difference with the tire compounds here. Look at Nunez, though. He's also been carving those with the reds to make some of these moves like right here.
Doing 53 laps today, 140 iRacing miles, 6.64 configuration of the Mexico City course. 50-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. 5 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 4 in the pits. Must do a compound change, so those that started on the reds must switch to the primes. Those that started on the primes must switch at one point to the reds. We watch this battle on the racetrack, side by side. A little bit further back, that is that Ortiz? No, that is
Yeah, Saucier.
Saucier.
You see them all bundle up here at this point, but look at this right now. Talked about the white machine, and Guthis still bleeding spots here. He's one of the ones on the prime tires. He actually has the one of the lowest, if not the second lowest, iRating in the field, third lowest in fact, because you also have Charpentier. But for him, this is actually a big effort for someone who I'm guessing doesn't run too much in the officials for the road course side. For the most part, the independent driver seems to have picked things up pretty well. It's still a good accomplishment to gain 17, but I think he kind of put over, maybe burned up his stuff, gaining all those spots in the midst of traffic and sending it a little bit too deep, and now he's kind of overheated the tires.
The push-to-pass situation. Clegg and Law are two leaders right now, have not touched the button at all. O'Sullivan, 149 seconds left. F-Tink 130. He's used the button quite a bit, thinking like it's Mario Kart out there. Solwedge tapped the button once. He's at 198. Savazzi hasn't touched the button at all. 153 seconds. Nunez 186. Rise still hasn't touched the button. And Vogelzang with 168 seconds. They have more than enough push to pass really for the play and distance today. Again, only doing 53. A full distance race is into the 60s here. So they have more push to pass really than they can possibly they would want to use on a full distance race. Not to mention they do have the hybrid power units as well that they can deploy on laps, and the regen of the hybrid, on the road course is a little bit easier. You don't have to push the button. You can push the button if you want to, but you can also regen with braking power. So that's kind of how that's working here on the IndyCars. Watching this battle right now unfold on your screen. Down the front stretch, big run to the inside. Here comes Salvazzi on F-Tink.
Salvazzi now getting the chance to get the peel, but...
that's Kostik Solwedge, on F-Tink.
Yeah, Solwedge, yeah. Yeah, I was about to say. Looks like Solwedge just not able to sort things out. We'll look at the side-by-sides again. Nunez.
Savazzi might get there soon enough. He's almost in that picture, but he's going to take a shot going into turn, this is turn 4 and 5. Still battling out. Not a lot of room there.
Yeah, not a lot of space indeed, but the thing is, it's about give or take at this point, right? You're about halfway to the run. Interestingly enough, we just had a couple drivers just peel down pit road. The 78, 93, and 06 all just came down. They've got to be thinking two-stop and taking the short stop now instead of later. And then go out full tank and then be able to finish the race without a top-off with under 6 or 7 to go.
Remember, we saw them a little bit earlier. They were all in a group of about 6 cars, so a couple of them made the call to come to pit road and try to do maybe an undercut or some sort of strategy to kind of separate themselves in that group. We got a car in the pits, one of our leaders, F-Tink, on pit road. Scheduled stop at lap 12. So again, early. This is in kind of the 3-stop window area. Maybe he's just had enough of those red tires at this point.
Hey, it's a chance to read a bookly-do to give a shout-out to the on-board camera sponsor. But in all seriousness, though, it is an opportunity to give yourself some clean space because with this track, it's very big in terms of the mileage. You're talking about 2.65 miles, one of the bigger tracks you'll see a bit. So it is a chance to, if you come in the right spot, get clean air, or you come out of traffic in the case of the 18 in that circumstance, and you end up trying to battle with the dirty air.
Here's a battle we're watching on the screen between 2 former series champions. Our inaugural season champion, Julian Altena, way back in season 1, and Luis Nunez from 2 seasons ago. As Nunez sends it to the inside, and that was D an inch, and there was contact there. He just sent it.
Yeah, that was lap traffic, believe, in that circumstance, too. Yeah, just sent it up an inch. Look at this. Dan's not expecting this at all. Nunez expects the line. That is dangerous.
That is, I'm gonna get on your side here. I don't think Dan was expecting that. I know Dan's probably watching the relatives and knows that when there's a faster driver coming up, but that was a big lunge. And if I'm in Dan's shoes, I don't think I'm expecting that either. I think I'm trying to get through that corner, and then after that corner, I'm looking at a place to duck out of the way.
Yeah, I'm looking. There was a 30-mile-an-hour difference in that part of the zone, by the way. That's how rapid the difference is. It's hearing some zone differences. Oh, that's a squeeze with Quendy, and I think someone just got a wing sheared off.
Well, Quendy coming to pit road. I think that's 14 incidents. He might be at his incident limit. So he long day for the road racing drivers. It started off really bad with Hunter Ingrave coming to pit road early, and then Jesper Dahlgren and Quendy both with damage from incidents in the very early stage of this race. And Quendy, former series champion, defending series champion, having a rough day. Now making a drive-through penalty for reaching the incident limit and making a long day even longer back in 26 as we watch this battle.
Yeah, that's
That was
That's
Yako, I
Seegers.
believe.
Seegers.
Yep.
Yep, you see the front wing clipped off with the contact from behind. That's enough to give Kalendi the penalty and put Kalendi probably not on the strategy he was looking for, but if they come around the arena this time through, right now it seems like people are running different lines in terms of balance here. A lot of people are trying to run that middle to then dime it off a little bit to make sure they don't wash up across the curbing to the start and finish line. Some of the areas are getting a lot of diamond line opportunities here around this track to be able to get a chance to exit pretty well. It depends just on how much dirty air, though, you're getting in draft trains like this one.
The battle here going into this corner here is Vogelzang, and that's Rise, I believe. They're racing this for 8th spot. This is in turns 4, 5, and 6 on the far, I guess this is the extreme southern portion of the racetrack. You get a bit of a straight into the 7, into the S's here. A lot of cars run off onto the runoff area there, trying to keep it as fast as possible. Now they're going through 10 and 11. And then this is a straight that normally at the end of the straight there's a right-hander that would take you into the baseball field portion of the course. That is being bypassed as they will stay on the oval portion of the course. Watching Hunter Ingrave right now in a battle with Bryce Saucier coming down the front straightaway. Hunter might hit that push to pass. There he is. You see the green border appear on his pie readout there on his screen, on his wheel. That means he's on push to pass. And he pulls off the pass, going into well before turn 1 and move Hunter Ingrave up to 12th. So he is on a little bit of a drive, a recovery drive, having to stop early, very early, like at lap 1 or 2.
Yeah, and right now, the tough thing for him is getting the net time picked up around the track. 1:19.3 last time. 1:19 is the average he's been running. He's actually quicker than drivers up to 8th spot on average. That's how quickly he's able to clean things up. Then you compare that to some of the 27, who's been staying in the 120s this entire time, but has just picked up so many spots from the early going with some of the chaos and with some of the initial start passes that they've been just able to make the time stand. Esports doing a good job, despite not having the pace per se, to keep the track position. How it holds up in the second half of the race, I think, is the big question mark, though.
Sometimes you don't need to be the fastest car at the racetrack to make up the most spots. Just get yourself in a position to pick those spots up. And the easiest passes on the racetrack are when those cars are being repaired on pit road, or they do it early off and they retire. Those are the easiest passes to make, and those are some of the passes Jesper there has made up. He's in 10th spot, still improving his day, up 18. Biggest gainer, though, now is Luis Nunez. He is up to 6th. He is not really near anyone at the moment. Julian Altena is not too far behind him. Clegg, though, your leader, continuing to pull away. And Justin making his road course debut. Fraser Clegg, 5, now 6-second lead, waxing this field right now.
Yeah, he stayed in the 118s too. He is doing this on the black wall tire as well. So it becomes the question, how much does he grow the gap when he doing the tire compound change? Have you seen such a dominant debut like this in this series, or what would you say if you're Clegg? He's been in control and beating him on the tire strat.
And we're watching the battle a little bit further on back. I believe that's Nigel Stock in a battle with Saucier. But leader was going, I was watching Clegg going through the leaders and going through some back traffic and caught James Watson. I think James did a little bit of a twitch. It's like, oh, okay, you're there. And a little bit of a exciting moment there, but still avoided an incident. But watching Stock, now it's a Saucier and a Connor all together in a 3-car battle. This is for 13th, 14th, and 15th. As for dominant debuts races on a road course. I do remember Luis Nunez's first road course race. That was, oh, wow. Careful, guys. Whoa! And there's a contact in turn 4. And that is going to be Kennert, who is probably going to get a tow, or he's going to maybe try to get his way back to pit road on that. But watch this again as Kostic Solwedge goes purple. He just sent it in there, and boink, 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 and everybody bouncing off one another.
Almost wonder if he was hoping to park the bus and then hope there was no contact from behind. Like, it's a brave send. Then right here has to jab on the brakes hard, and it actually snaps him around because he locked up, then binding up the left front. That destroys the 46. Takes him out of contention here as we take a look at Rise now. Look at some of the swerving. Right now, F-Tink amongst those in this pack.
And F-Tink had that early stop. He is now down to 10th. So remember, you might have saw him up earlier in the order, higher in the order earlier, and that's why he just had his first stop already not too long ago. Only about, let's see, his stint, only about 3 laps or 4 laps ago he was on pit road. So Hunter Ingrave also had an early stop, but he's going to have to come to pit road, and they are right behind Grotis. Law, pit lane scheduled stop at lap 19. So this putting him squarely in the 2-stop window.
Something happened to Saucier, by the way. Saucier has already been in the pit lane 32 seconds as well, Gary. So something has seen the 7. Spent a lot of time. He's got the meatball flag, it looks like, from some of our contact, and has jumped out of the race car as well.
That might have been what happened in, I think, turn 4.
Yes.
I think, he was involved. Yeah, he was involved in that incident right there. So Lal off pit road in 7th spot. Now we go back to the battle with Hunter Ingrave, who is running down F-Tink. And then right in front of them is Grotes. This is a battle for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Oh, Jesper sliding through the exit of that corner. That's going to hurt his exit speed. And here comes F-Tink. He's going to take a stab probably to the outside as Jesper defends to the inside. This is coming into turn 4. Not a lot of room to try to pass through there as F-Tink's going to send it on the outside for 5. And he's going to have a good run, but he's not going to have the position into 6. He can stay to the inside. He might be able to get him in 7 here. And does Hunter follow him through?
Well, the answer is he's going to set something up pretty soon, I think, for turn 1. Kind of has to go. The 27 has yet to pit for their initial stop. So you're talking about much older tires going to hold you up. Here comes the 77 to take away the inside groove.
He's going to have a run off the corner, and he should pick that up. Kostic Solwedge now up to 3rd. Salvazi 4th, Nunez 5th, Altena 6th. Watching this battle with Hunter Ingrave. He goes into 1 side by side. Oh, big twitch, big twitch under braking. But he's going to hold on. Oh, good car control.
Yeah, a little bit sketchy yet again. He's shown great car control today to make sure he doesn't snap around here in this circumstance, especially with the close calls. Another slight twitch under the brakes. 27's tires are toast. He is burning up those fronts. Has to really make sure he adjusts to how he's driving. He is having a hard time rotating.
He's in the window. He can come to pit road, so he's on schedule. So it probably. Oh my goodness! Oh, and look at how much twitchy. Look at just how twitchy on the edge it is.
Yeah, it just doesn't turn. Look, it's like a sailboat, just absolutely plowing. Actually, have you ever run in a paddle boat, try to turn, and it's like turn, and you start turning, it's like, no, turn, other way, and you end up just ending up in the seaweed. 27 is exactly like that as Savazzi is off and away.
Savazzi pit road, yes, Savazzi down from the top 5. He's going to leave in 10th position. Actually in a battle off pit road with Jesper. and that is moves him down to 11th, but he will pick up some of those positions when those drivers in front of him stop. Yet to stop yet is our leader, Clegg. O'Sullivan second has not stopped. Solwedge in third has not stopped. Ewan Altena has not stopped. Luis Nunez technically has started from pit road, but he has not stopped. The first car that has stopped, that is on the race course, is Amon Law. He's at 6, so we'll see what he's able to pick up. It's the pit delta, and I'll have to go back and remind myself of what the pit delta is. The pit delta, I think, is about 28 seconds. 28 seconds, yeah.
Yes.
So he's at 33, so he'll be a lot closer to the leader, but it'll still be a pretty substantial lead for the leader when the leader does come and exit pit road.
Keep in mind,
Jaco Sniger's pit black flag. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, we'll say, for the 98, it's been a rough time today with the black flags, but the other point I was going to make too is, I mean, it should be a full surprise, Clegg. Looking at some of the records he's picked up on the iRacing service, for example, who's continuing to lead up front as the more cycles go on. Clegg has picked up 5 different world records, and 3 of the 5 are on road courses, including Miami, which arguably, I know it's a much newer track in the street circuit, but the layouts are kind of in a similar groove in terms of how fast flowing they are, especially when you're talking about the long straightaways like under the highway.
That is true. And, let's not sleep on him. Just because we have not seen him in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship before doesn't mean he's on this service racing in other disciplines and putting that skill set to work right here. But for kind of an IndyCar preview, and I see a lot of IndyCar races during the week. I see the Tuesday race, the Monday races. In other leagues I'm in, I've not seen him appear in any other leagues, but it's good to see someone new to the IndyCar putting on such a good show, showing everyone that, again, this is one of the best cars to... Oh, Julian, we're off. Excuse me, I was looking at 10 and 11. Julian just came to pit road, and Dan Inch was sideways at 10 and 11. Julian had to take some evasive maneuvers there.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, my goodness.
Watch this. I think... Inch just the back end, and he brings the car to the stop, and there goes Julian. To Dan Inch's credit, he got it out of the way quickly, but Julian just was just coming up on the zone very quickly. Jesper Dahlgren and Miriani.
Yeah,
this might have resulted in black flags.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Watch this coming up.
Ooh,
well, that's a good way to do it. Harder in the braking zone, a little bit more backed up, and Dahlgren just says, bye-bye front wing. Let's go and serve her black now.
Yeah, he was probably not expecting Miriani to back the corner up as much as he did there. I mean, look right where he places his car. I don't think he was expecting them to brake at that point. And that happens. We'll let the stewards make a call on that. So that's a thankless job, I was telling the stewards earlier. Unfortunately, Jesper getting the wrath, I wouldn't say the wrath of the stewards in the last race as he moves over for Hunter Ingrave to get on by. But going back a little bit higher in the order, watching Liam O'Sullivan, Luis Nunez. And then a battle here with Vogelzang now coming to pit road. His scheduled stop. But Jesper Dahlgren getting another penalty. Wants to stay off the stewards' radar, and hopefully that... is a racing deal. We'll see how that's ruled. It's not for me to call. But you and Chad, if you want to make that call, go right ahead.
That's a dangerous game to play, but I will say this. Nunez on speed, top 6.
Where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go? Okay.
Yeah, go the lane that the car with a broken wing doesn't go. But I was about to say, as he's on the reds here, he has a chance to close up again. I don't know if he's going to get the win here, but he gained a second of the pit stop window compared to Clegg. He is picking up a decent amount of pace as he tries to close up here over the course of the laps.
Busy set of corners there through the S's. We saw cars running wide, staying out of everyone's way. Luis Nunez basically on his outlap. He is just stopped here at... the last lap here, and he's going to have those red tires. Big run on F-Tink. F-Tink 12 laps into this stint. Remember, he stopped a little bit early. And F-Tink going to go to the inside of the fin. Nope, he's going to go to the outside, try to break the draft. Luis Nunez is going to follow the tire tracks. He's not going to be close enough in turn one, but he will get a lot closer. Look at him close the gap. Oh, he overshoots. He gets into that corner hot. And as a result, his exit, he loses some ground to F-Tink. I think he very badly wanted to make up some ground there.
Yeah, that's called desperation and try and keep up the tempo before the tires burn off after 7 laps. Quite simply, missed the braking board and then had the wiggles coming in through the gear shifts, and it just didn't stick from there. But some of the others here in the midst of the battles, you see like right here with Vogelzang. He's got Engrave, who's right behind him after the pit stop. That's 77 freshest tires. It's the Blackwall tires compared to the reds. So this might be a little bit more difficult for the 77 than some of the air battles you'll see today.
Yeah, fresh stop for both those drivers. Clegg has stopped. He stopped 2 laps ago on pit road for about 30.9 seconds. Not one of the faster pit road times, in the box for 10.3. But is your leader and continues holding on to the lead by about 5.9 to 6 seconds over O'Sullivan in third. F-Tink in a wheel-banging battle with Nunez.
Yeah, Nunez.
I think Nunez, yeah, you talked about it before. We saw it about 2 laps ago where he really wanted to close the gap there in turn 1. And you said it was kind of a desperation, and you might be right. He kind of brute forced his way into that position, wanting to get on by, realizing that the good of those red sidewall tires is a very limited time.
Yeah, you see it right now. The 18 tried for the outside, but again, Nunez more confident with the faster speeds right now that you'll see on the reds. Be able to plow his way back forward, make it stick, and now build the cushion. He's gained another second or 2 on the leader since the pit stops, by the way. As we continue to follow along with one of our close battles on the racetrack. The 26 and 77 are the close battles left. You have Watson and the 78 close as well on the racetrack. Everybody else has kind of stagnated out and separated around this track.
If you enjoy Velocity Online Racing's coverage of the VOR IndyCar Championship and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing, and while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so don't miss out on future iRacing broadcasts here on the VOR channel. Lap 27 of 53. Clegg, your leader. Lal, second. O'Sullivan, third. Nunez, deep from the pack, is in fourth. F-Tink in fifth. Some notable names that are not in the lineup right now, and we kind of didn't see exactly what happened. Kostik Solwedge has retired. He is in 22nd position. Remember, the guy that finished third in the championship last season, he is out and now classified in 22nd position, making his first start of the season. Not the way you want to make your debut. Still early on in this championship. We still have more rounds to go. This is a 9-race schedule, but we'll be doing 11 rounds because of the double sprint races that we'll have at our next 2 road courses. Watching this battle right now between Hunter Ingrave, who had to do a very early stop, and he is your best in class for Rogue Racing at the moment, trying to run down Milan Vogelzang in 8th spot. But thanks for joining us, everybody. Hey, over the history of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series, over 15 seasons, there's been 42 different winners. The last first-time winner was last season. Speaking of Kostik Solwedge, he won last season at Road Atlanta. He's their last first-time winner. 4 first-time winners last season. Might we see our first-time winner this season? Fraser Clegg is putting a very good bid in for that right now as we are past the halfway point.
Up and right now for Clegg, it's a great opportunity to be able to secure things absolutely with the way things are going, but it's still going to require keeping it clean in the midst of some of this traffic. We'll say for Engrave, Right now, running 1:18.6s compared to the 1:18.8s in front. I think we've now reached that cliffing, not yet for the cliffing point, but I think that's just the 77 engrave is that much quicker, especially with the car in front with the dirty air. Good chance to be able to try and chip away and be able to make a pass, which would be helpful later on. Lap traffic stays right.
Yeah, lap traffic might have played a tiny role in there, as Vogelzang didn't really know where Ortiz is going to go. Ortiz just trying to make it through this race, but they're going to have a run after these set of corners down into the oval turn 12. And we'll see if Hunter Ingrave will take a stab at the inside. Nope.
Yeah, nothing doing. Just, it's so hard to make the pass once you are at some point to the run. Here we go with the push to pass, and it looks like Vogelzang is going to give him the run. Let him have it with the push to pass.
Ingrave on the button, and he clears him going in the one and move Hunter Ingrave up to 8 spots.
Yeah, look at this, though, with some of the push to pass. This is amazing to me with the push to pass for the leader. If you can put a circle on that, that is 0 uses this entire race, which is absolutely wild that Clegg can basically defend for all he wants later on in the race with the way the push to pass functions.
Yeah, that is to the point on his own pace. Nothing artificial there. Maybe he's been using the hybrid. I don't know. We don't. I would imagine at some point we will be able to see hybrid use, part of the overlay, maybe in future versions, future updates of iRacing. But right now, we can't tell that information that you can see the hybrid being deployed yet. But we can see push to pass being deployed, as you see Altena on the button right now. F-Tink has been using that button like it's Mario Kart. Like I said, 68 seconds left, but Clegg not even used it. Now, it's possible, I say that he has not mapped the button. Some people have an oval configuration for their wheel, and other people have a road course configuration for their wheel, because you don't have necessarily the same push-to-pass function on ovals. You have the hybrid function, but not the push-to-pass function, if that makes any sense. And it's possible that he might not have mapped it, but he's doing everything on his own accord right now by a tune of 8.4 seconds without push-to-pass, as we ride with Julian Altena, who has used the button now. He's now halfway through his allotment. 200 seconds at 98 right now on the softer sidewall tires as he's working his way through the S's. Julian Altena in 6th spot, and kind of a ride through the park right now for Julian, it seems like. Looking a little bit forward, and Liam O'Sullivan continues to blink out as he's trying to run down Amon Lal, who has put the lockdown on P2 since he's got around Liam, but Liam has not been able to get that position back.
Yeah, but Lal lost 2 seconds last time by. That's why there's so much of an opportunity here this time through to be able to go for this pass. That was because, once again, lap traffic near contact with Dan Inch yet again in the 52. So at this point, you got to think big picture. Can you make this move as clean as possible? The technical issues, that is scary to me, Gary, because if you try and make a pass with a tech issue, they blink, guess what? You might get a lot of internet disruption and a hurricane to your side pod.
Yeah, you know, I've said this before. The blinking, and when you rematerialize, I equate it to a transporter accident in Star Trek, right? I'm a little bit of a Trekkie. If you've ever watched Star Trek, you realize that if you rematerialize inside of something or somebody else, that's not good in Star Trek. And it's the same way here. When you blink out and you rematerialize inside of another car, and then iRacing detects, it gives you. At some point, you could do a bit of a pass-through like you can on pit road, where the cars become transparent and you could pass through them. But there's a little bit of leeway there. But once that transparency period of a couple of split seconds just kind of expires and everything becomes, quote-unquote, solid again in a virtual sense, that's when you would rematerialize inside of a car, and that is not good. That is basically going to cause an instant incident, as we see Lal getting away Jesper Orman, getting around Jesper Orman, and we see Ortiz having some issues into the S's. Dan Inch back on pit road.
Yeah, he's had a lot of close calls when it comes to the traffic management today. You see, wow, how does the 52 not realize what end pit road they have on the pit box? I don't know what to say, but it's been a rough one for Dan Inch in terms of drivers.
Let's just call it a long day for Dano there. I've been there. When you're not the fastest on a road course, sometimes, as I mentioned, to drive to survive and just stay out of everyone's way. And on this race course, we don't have a track map to show you, but I mean there are places to hide here. But when you're on the front straight, you're in that turn 12 oval area, all the way to turn 1. Lots of places to hide there. But once you get into turns 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, the S is in there. Not a lot of places to duck out and and hide if you have faster traffic around and you want to give them a place to pass you. But there you see the kind of the southern portion, which is that point down at the bottom where it says Open 1959. That's turn 6. So there's not a lot of places to hide down there. Then you see the S's, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not a lot of places to hide there. So you need to get really on one of these straights or in that big sweeping turn 12 on the oval on the far left side of the graphic there. You could get out of the way. But, finding a place to hide here, especially with how fast you're going, is easier said than done sometimes. So I give a little bit of leeway to some of these drivers in the back who are just having a hard time. It's not that easy, and it sounds a lot easier than it is. And, I've been there before. It sometimes is a challenge.
Yeah, it can definitely build up the frustrations with how things go, but if you can persevere, if you can survive, it's about getting to learn for the next time. By the way, windows open. Nunez took the shortstop this time through, Gary, instead of the first time. So it looks like he and a couple others pulled in. The window is open. Eftinkin, Altena, the active leader in road course wins, also in.
These are final stops to get to the end. Nunez down and away. Eftink in on pit road. He looks like he is down, waiting for the fill, waiting for the fill, waiting for the fill. He's down and away. And Julian is down, waiting for the fill, waiting for the fill, waiting for the... Wait a minute, long stop for Julian. Something's not right for, as you mentioned, the career wins leader on road courses here in the series and the former series champion. He is on pit road with an extended stop. Not sure what happened to the leader of Altena Autosports, but he is on a long, long hold there. 33 seconds, 34 seconds. I don't see a black flag, so I don't know if there's a penalty. It's just maybe a mechanical. We're not quite sure yet. And when I say mechanical, something with your PC or your setup. Now he's down and away and moving. So a costly long stop for Julian Altena.
That was a minute-long pit stop. 5 wins on road courses coming into today, was in contention for a top 5 here today. Obviously, not anymore. Could have potentially, with some luck, be right behind Miranda in terms of that total, but not going to change today likely.
Battle for second, getting closer. Blinking. Where's he going to rematerialize? Where is he?
Oh,
well, there he is. No!
That was a little bit of a bad spot to reappear. Lau, I think, just went in the marbles, though. That gives the spot to O'Sullivan.
And O'Sullivan with the aid of the blink, and I think the blink does act as a little bit of an unfair advantage. He goes wide into the S's. He might have a bit of a slowdown there. We're going to see if he does or not. And Lal trying to run him down, but Justin, that blinking is a little bit of an advantage because as the driver that's trying to defend or attack, you don't know where that guy's going to reappear.
Exactly, and that's why I think Lau had to give a lot of space in the first place to put himself in a compromising spot. Now, as we're down to the final 18 laps here, looks like Lau going to just ride on behind, maybe take the chance with a poke with the draft because there's no better place to go. Just let the natural pace take him rather than just use the push to pass and use some seconds up.
Inside, in the one, and he gets the spot back from Liam.
Get a nice one done there We'll say these are teammates all battling out here on the racetrack also. And keep in mind, with the way things shaped up in California, Lieutenant Autosport entered today with the team's championship lead up at the top of those groupings. So good opportunity to at least score some stable points to respond to what we've seen from some of the other teams on the chart today.
Watching a replay here of Christensen. And nothing, just a wave off there. So we go back to the action on the racetrack. Lal looking to put a little bit of distance now between himself and Liam, and he has. There is a little bit of a gap there now. Let me get the gap readings there. He has himself 0.8 of a second lead. With as close as they've been over the last 5 laps or so, that might as well be an 8-lap lead. That's managed to pull away by a pretty good margin. Still 11 seconds behind the leader as Fraser Clegg now has started from the pole. I believe he's led every single lap. He does not have the purple lap, so he does not have that key last portion of the Grand Slam. But we'll see if he comes to pit road. He still needs to stop. His last stop was at 24. He is 13 laps into his current stint, and I don't think he'll stop for another 10 or so, give or take. He could come in before that. Again, watching a battle here now with James Watson. Watson Racing Setups. Christensen from 44 Nation. Chris Rise with the black flag on the race course at the moment. I think another incident limit there possibly.
Yeah, I think so as well, and he's serving that penalty for good measure. Actually out of the race car. So there is a tow we're hearing for Rise. So was this an incident or was this just, okay, I had enough? Answer is, it's a spin.
Yeah, just a long day, and you're like, well, he gets going. Maybe just, I'm going to get it to the pits and just end this long day. Remember, we just do this for hobbies.
Here's the counterpoint. Did he miss his pit box also? Well, answer is, that doesn't look like the right angle. I think he just tried to stop it as close as he possibly could, and yep, he missed his pit stall too.
Hunter Ingrave has blinked out. Not sure exactly if that was a DC for Hunter Ingrave or not, but I see him now falling through the order.
Yeah. Hearing that Clundy just got a DQ as well with incident points, but he was 9 laps down last time on scoring.
That is a rough day, and again, I've been there as he's just trying to get out of the way of the leaders. And then here comes Julian. Just a bad spot to be caught, and then spinning, and that's it. Okay, I'm done. Alt F4.
Well, he did get the
yeah, he did. He did get an Alt F4. He did get the DQ. So that's an instant. The game just removes you. Watching Patrick Silvazzi now on the racetrack. Back to Amon Lal and Liam O'Sullivan, as Liam has actually closed that gap now. Remember, I said it was 0.8, and he's halved it now by 0.4.
I think O'Sullivan's faster on the long run, but Lal's better in terms of execution on the pit stop, being able to push on the short stints, or rather the fresh tires, to be able to dig. O'Sullivan, it's just the natural tire wear differences. I think they're just migrating together with that offset of laps. 27, by the way. Still in the top 10, still in the 120s, by the way. That might be a bit of an off track, maybe a slowdown there, though, this time.
Oh, he's right. He's got the leader right around him, and there the leader now puts him a lap down, as the leader is now lapped his way up to P7, and right in front of him is P7. So he's getting ready to put Vogelsang, who has got pretty good pace on the road courses, just to tell you the difference in pace that Clegg has.
Yep, right there, you see the opportunities Clegg is just taking
Clegg to the inside. That's just so tight in through this portion of the race course. And imagine the Formula One cars when they race here. I mean, they're pretty wide and pretty beefy now in the current setup. And the Indy cars are pretty wide and pretty beefy. There's not a lot of room at that portion of the race course. Just very quick, sharp turns. Watching now, though, Van Sutis, he is trying to hang on to a top 10 for his debut here in the series. Not a bad debut, to be honest with you, at a very challenging event today, 14 to go. Once again, if you're just joining us, you are watching Velocity Online Racing's coverage of Season 15 of the VOR IndyCar Championship, coming to you from Mexico City for the inaugural running of the VOR Grand Prix of Mexico. We completed now, we're actually got 13 laps to go. We've scheduled 53 laps today. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The leader, as we're watching Amon Lal coming in for his final pit stop, and he's looking for a good recovery drive today. Not the greatest finish on the oval at Fontana in the 400-miler last week. He's down and away for his final stop. He will rejoin, still in third spot, but he's going to come out side by side just behind him. There is Luis Nunez. That is a battle for position. Nunez wants it. Amon Lal on fresh red tires right now. Nunez up 22 spots, had to start from the rear of the field due to a penalty that he received at the end of last season. Making his debut in the series today, too. Former series champion.
Yeah, it's been a really good drive, I think, for Nunez. At this point, with the situation, he's right now right on top of O'Sullivan in terms of pace as well as Lau. He could absolutely get second, maybe third spot here. It's just an impressive drive to come from the pit road, remember, to start things off today. It takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of things to go right, and he's had a lot of moments where it could have ended in the wall. But for Nunez, he's just been able to keep it clean long enough to just thrive at the very end of this one.
Leader is Fraser Clegg, and he has pretty much driven a flawless race. Only one incident for Fraser all race long. 8 for Liam O'Sullivan. Amon Lal has 5. Luis Nunez has 7. Roden Eftink has 6. So even some of the best road course racers that we have to offer still managed to pick up an incident or two. But Clegg, a near flawless race, and we expect Lal to come to pit road and put on a set of red tires and try to throw down some Red Bull laps in the closing stages here and try to go for that Grand Slam. Remember, the Grand Slam, which is not really actively tracked at IndyCar racing. I had to ask someone on Twitter that kind of tracks IndyCar stats. When's the last time an IndyCar racer had a Grand Slam for real? And he's like, a what? So he looked it up, and I think it was back in the DW12 era, and I think it was Scott Dixon back in the DW12. We're still the DW12 era, but not without the IR18 Aero set, or the Aero kits on, which we're watching these cars today. Keep in mind, these are DW12 tubs, but with the IR18 Aero kit on them. That's why they're called the IR18. Interesting enough, I saw that the new car coming out for 2028, they're going to call originally the IR28. But the Grand Slam, not actively tracked. It's more of a World Grand Prix, Formula One championship type thing. Of course, Michael Schumacher got a ton of Grand Slams. Lewis Hamilton, ton of Grand Slams. Verstappen, ton of Grand Slams. So the Grand Slam is winning the pole, leading every single lap, winning the race, and getting the purple lap, fastest lap during the race. And Clegg has done everything but do the fastest lap at that point. His fastest lap is a 1:18.3. The fastest lap of the day, Luis Nunez with a 1:17.6.
I wouldn't be surprised if that fast lap attempt comes into the final laps, though, because Correct me if I'm wrong. Clegg hasn't even put on the reds yet, hasn't he?
No, and he hasn't used push to pass yet.
If he wants it, he can take it. That's the strong argument I'm going to make. It's his for the taking after he makes his service at about 2 laps time, I'd say. 2 to 4.
Next race for us in the championship is in 2 weeks. Well, we will visit Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway for a 325-mile, 500-kilometer event. That's in 2 weeks, and on a very IndyCar-friendly course. Cars race very well at Gateway. We've been there 8 times before in the series history. 5 different winners, including yours truly. I have a win at Gateway in the VOR IndyCar Series. The very famous Halloween race from season 2, yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm interested in the context on that, but that's another time.
Just gotta avoid all the trouble on the race course. That's all you gotta do.
I mean, that's a little bit of a wide moment.
He got a little bit of the inside corner and on that apex, and it just shot the car right up the racetrack. But a lot of NASCAR style runoff there. Ortiz in turn 1 locks him up, and had Vogelsang and Jesper were right in the neighborhood. So that was a bit of an exciting moment. Watch this once again on replay. Ortiz, that orange and black car, and I think he gets into the corner, and just the car doesn't. Car twitches as he turns. Whoa! Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see in a brake zone when you're coming from 200, almost 200 miles per hour, down to about 60 or less.
Yeah, that was, I think, almost too quick on the brakes in that circumstance. Oh, no, here we go.
Nunez and Sullivan. Sullivan around. Sullivan around, and he is down the 4th spot. This is in corners 1, 2, and 3. So this is on the pit exit with fresh tires, and the blink is hurting. If you put it on, maybe we get it on Nunez here. Here comes Nunez. Big run. Oh, there was we'd go look from Nunez or a sky cam there. I wonder if there was contact.
There was definitely contact.
It looked like there was a bit of a bump, but look, big run.
Yeah, O'Sullivan locked it up and missed the apex. He didn't make the turn, and that he went more straight on the angle. That's what caused the contact. O'Sullivan went a little bit too hard into the corner and just couldn't get it to rotate.
Now that's going to be an interesting call from the stewards. But we now have 8 to go, and we have a change for the podium as Liam O'Sullivan, who is the points leader coming into this race by virtue of picking up the penalty-assisted win from last week. And, checkered flag's a checkered flag. I mean, ask Pato Award. It happened to him. So you take them as you get them, but every driver prefers to see the checkered flag instead of having to have it awarded to you after the fact. But he is the points leader. And still, here comes Clegg, the pit road, our leader on pit road. But O'Sullivan wants to leave this place as the points leader. And he might be in a position to do that because everyone else around him in points coming into this race are having difficulties. But here is Fraser Clegg, our leader, who has dominated this day, started from the pole, led everything. He is going to go for a light fill, just enough to get to these last 6 or 7 laps. A set of the red tires to make himself compliant to the tire switch rule. And he is down and away. And everybody, Red Bull laps incoming. Be prepared. We're going to watch Fraser Clegg here. This is on his out lap, but the next lap is going to be the one that we're really going to watch to see if he can go purple. And I believe he still has his full allotment of push to pass. Yeah, 200 seconds. So we'll see, first of all, as O'Sullivan goes purple with a 1:17.6. Can Clegg top that? Clegg needs to go faster than a 1:17.6. O'Sullivan just set that. And then that might have been a little red mist in that 1:17.6, Justin.
Yes. And keep in mind, part of that is going to help him here. Might be a little bit of trouble. Something just happened to be failing, I think, for Jesper Dahlgren. We see some sends, though, on the racetrack, more importantly. Opportunities for side-by-side. See the push to pass. Up the inside on the push. The Sensei well and clear as the 78 gives him space.
Late race pass for improvement of positions. That's for 12th. And here comes, getting ready to watch it. We're watching Jesper Dahlgren, see what happened to him.
Yeah. He ended up missing into the middle sector, it was, for the 2 machine. He just straight up cut the entire corner. You're going to keep an eye on this here because he's been on his own much of the run. Remember, sheared off the wing. It's been a rough day for Jesper.
Clegg is in. Clegg's on a flyer, by the way, and he has Fiolis in front of him, and that's going to cost him time. But we're watching Jesper Dahlgren now.
Yep, just take a look at this. Just cuts left because he's trying to let people go, and then he absolutely does not even attempt the corner.
And does some lawn care. So Jesper Orman looking to, he does have a Honda, so Honda does make, I think, lawn care products. So a little bit of trimming there on the green glass. Oh, Jesper Van Grooten. He is, it looks like we have a major incident here, is at the inside of James Watson. Now he passes him, and big twitch, camera angle, and we can't see, but I think he spins to the inside, and contact with,
That's for Watson, right on through at the wing. Remember, 27th was struggling all day in that section.
All right, Clegg just set his fastest lap, but not the purple lap because he had lap traffic in front of him. So he's on another flyer to reset here with 5 to go. He still has the good of those tires. Here is Stock. Stock is missing his wing at the moment. Oh, actually, Stock is around Watson, as Watson is missing his wing. Watson just trying to stay out of everyone's way right now. No point in coming to pit road. I don't think even Watson has a meatball flag, so he's just trying to nurse a one-wing angel home right now.
I don't know about you, but I don't know if that's going to make it around cleanly with so much time loss Watson's taking just to make sure he doesn't lose time in the pit.
Watson is in 10th spot, so I don't think he wants to give that 10th spot up. Mariani with the DQ. What happened here?
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I think that it reached the incident limit for Mariani. That's 21 incidents, so just a rough day for and there it is, purple lap. Fraser Clegg looking for the Grand Slam with 4 laps to go here, a 1:16.8.
And he went on the push to pass, as you would expect. He wanted to get the purple lap, get the max points day. Remember, coming into today, he was actually in the top 5 in points, scored 31 points out in California. With the points tally, he's got a top 5. So, pretty clearly, with everybody else here not here or having a rough moment at least once or twice today, Clegg's going to be your points leader after the second round here.
He has generously used the push to pass button. Remember, when he came out of the pits with these new set of red tires and his final pit stop, he had 200 seconds left of push to pass. He has 122. He has used 80 seconds and 3 laps. He is on the button for nearly every straightaway. On the button now.
Yeah, this is the exclamation point to be able to secure the spot and make sure the time is just untouchable, is what you can say here. It's been a clean run all day for the 57. Just has to be able to power his way. How about, boy, a 1:17.5 that time.
Poke them if you got them. They're not rollover minutes like the old cellular bills. You can't take them to the next month or the next race. So use every single second. You might as well. And he doesn't have to worry about fuel. He's good to go to the end. The tires, well, he's only had tires that need to last about 7 laps, and they only last about 7 laps for their primes on the alternate tire there. in their prime lifespan. So you might as well just have fun here in the last handful of laps as you're on your way to your first Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship, to be part of the fraternity of winners. And I've taken a checkered flag in this series, 42 different winners. He is on his way to being the 43rd different winner. First-time winner this season. First-time winner since last season, and that was Kostik Solic at Road Atlanta, getting his first win there en route to P3 in the championship. Fraser Clegg is looking for an early exclamation point for this season and is wanting to put himself down as a player for this Series 15 championship. Just a handful of laps to go, and lap traffic just in front of him of Jesper Orman and Julian Altena.
Just has to make sure no one spins in front of him, and we know Jesper's been having a hard time keeping it off the runoff areas. Altena, I think, is looking pretty stable. Outside of that, shouldn't have any problems here. The 57 just been able to carve his way past everybody with ease. He's been able to dig into the corners 2 car lengths deeper in the braking zones all day. There it is again, 2 car lengths deeper on the initial set, gained some 3 car lengths to the roll.
Again, Julian had a long stop. We're not quite sure what happened there. I can't think of any instances in IndyCar history yet, might have to do some digging, of drivers that have won in their second start. Of course, most famously, the drivers that won in his first start, Nigel Mansell. Buzz Calkins, that counts, folks. You might not like it, but he did win in his first IndyCar start when he won the 96 Indy 200, the inaugural race of the Indy Racing League. White flag in the air. One more circuit to go for Fraser Clegg en route to his first win here in the Velocity Online Racing Series. We had a list of former winners that have won in their first race. I'll have to go dig that up. But the second starts, I know Robert Wickens came really close. I also came really close in his first start, too. But I'm not thinking of anybody off the top of my head. Somebody in chat, if you could think of who won in their second IndyCar start ever, let's go ahead and drop it in there. I'll be looking that up here, doing a little bit more in-depth research. I always go down the IndyCar historical rabbit hole when these things come to mind.
Just incredible drive is all you can say when it comes to Clegg. Been fast from the get-go, blistered everyone on speed, no major incidents. The 57 was on it today.
Off of corner number 12. Last time, looking at the checkered flag, going down in the record books as a winner in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. Fraser Clegg does the Fraser Wiggle and is your winner in round 2 of season 15 here at Mexico City. Amon Lal coming off of corner number 12. He gets a good recovery drive after a DNF on the oval at Fontana. P2 for Amon, and Luis Nunez in his first start of the season, and with a penalty. Luis Nunez, former series champion from 2 seasons ago, comes home on the bottom step of the podium. That is your top 3 here, unofficially, at Mexico City. Justin, besides the top 3, we had some guys that made some good races, and unfortunately, we were watching Jesper Van Grand Zeus make, and I've probably butchered his name a couple of times, and Jesper just let me know in a voice memo on Discord how to say your name if I'm butchering it there. But Jesper was looking good for so long. But at the end of the day, your biggest gainer is James Watson. We saw him having a rough day, but managed to get a top 10 out of this thing and comes home with 15th.
Able to still survive, absolutely, in the end. But it was an impressive drive from him, despite the front wing smashed away. Nunez, remember, technically did go from dead last to third from the pit lane also to throw that into the mix. But what a race for Clay.
Yeah, the Nunez got 23 spots improved, but here are your final standings here. Unofficial results for today's race here in Mexico City. Fraser Clegg with his first career win, the 43rd different winner in Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship history. Amon Lal second, Luis Nunez in third, Liam O'Sullivan with a bit of a good race, finishing in the top 5. But it was a blinky race, and a race that I would suspect that he probably wanted a little bit more out of. He comes home in 4th. I'm not sure how he's going to feel about that, but we'll see how the points shake out now when they update the points later in the interview process. We'll see where he shakes out in all this. Roden Epting in 5th. Silvazzi, very quietly, another top 10 for Patrick in 6th. Vogelsang, a top 10 in 7th. Julian Altena, not sure what really turned his day down south, but he brings it home in 8th. Nigel Stock, very quietly, comes home in 9th. And again, James Watson mentioned his 10 spots improved. Normally, he had, James Watson had 15 spots improved at the end of the day. And over on P1, we always have a driver of the race. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, not this Luis Nunez, but Luis Gonzalez Nunez always picks a driver of the race. Typically, it's the driver with the most finishing positions improved that don't finish on the podium, so that's why I was shouting out James Watson. He is the most finishing spots improved without finishing on the podium. He comes home in 10th. Let's get on to the next page here. We'll get into the interview room very shortly. Vince at 11th, Dufresne 12th, Christensen 13th, Fiolas 14th. Hunter Ingrave with a bit of a rough race with a DC. He comes home 15th. Race he wants to forget, another rough day for the road racing teammate of Jesper Dahlgren in 16th. Dan Inch, another rough race for him, just trying to stay out of everyone's way. Timing and scoring is off here a little bit, so just again, unofficial. Inch and Gruthis shown as in 18th spot. This will get that straightened out and unofficial when the standings go official. Ortiz in 19th and Muriani in 20th. Moving on to the next page, the finishes off Rise. Defending series champion Clindy with a day he wants to forget too in 22nd. Kind of joined him on the podium in last year's championship. Kostik Solic in 23rd. Not sure really what happened to him. Seigers in 24th. Saucier, Connert, Charpentier, and Bree round out the remainder of this. A pretty decent size. Everyone's showing up here on a Saturday here in January. 28 cars. Want to thank everyone for showing up. 28 car field here today at Michigan. I'll say it, Michigan City. We have a Michigan City, Indiana. I always want to say Michigan City. Mexico City, down in the great country of Mexico, home country of our good compatriot Antonio Estrada. So let's get on into the interview room here. I think we're going to have Luis Nunez. He's not here yet. So Amon Lal is available. So we will pull him down and send him over to Justin Prince to interview Amon Lal.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Lal, how would you describe things in terms of your drive today, able to hold on for a second step on the podium?
Yeah, that was really difficult at the end there because on that last pit stop, I accidentally underfueled by about 1 liter, and it was quite difficult to save fuel around here. So, yeah, I was quite wary that Nunez would have better tyres for the end of the stint as well. So, yeah, just quite difficult to make sure I make it to the end and hold position at the same time.
Overall, how would you describe the difficulty of a track like this compared to some of the others you'll see on the schedule? How would you describe the run at Mexico in terms of the track flow?
The layout itself is actually quite fun in my opinion. But I think with the nature of it being so high up in terms of the altitude, it kind of masks over that and makes it a lot more difficult to drive than what you would expect. But overall, I did have a lot of fun out there. I really like this track, so yeah, I can't complain with this result either.
So with that in mind here, next time out is Gateway. How do you feel about going there? Because that's expected to be around 260 laps.
Yeah, I think we did Gateway in the Global IndyCar Championship last season, so it's one of the tracks that I have driven before. So I'm looking forward to that. And as a team, we usually go quite well. So I'm expecting we keep up that kind of performance again for next race.
Any shout you'd like to give here today?
Yeah, thanks to the team again. Last couple of days we've been working together on strategy and how to run this race. So, what the best way to run this race was. So yeah, thanks to them again, and thanks to you guys as well for putting on the show, I guess.
Congratulations on the podium.
Yeah, thank you.
Von Lau getting himself a second place run here today in this one, Gary.
Still don't see Luis Nunez. Yeah, but we have the winner. We will bring down Fraser Clegg, and here is Fraser Clegg. Fraser, we were talking about your accomplishments world record-wise on iRacing. Very much an accomplished road racer, but dipping into the IndyCar side of things here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. Had a good showing on the oval. Surprised everyone there at the oval at Fontana, but put a waxing on everybody. I believe, again, everything's unofficial. You got the Grand Slam here. We don't track the Grand Slam officially as a stat in IndyCar racing, but it doesn't happen very often. And you got it here at IndyCar. Fastest lap, led all laps, run the race and got the pole. Second ever start here in the series. 43rd different winner here in the series. Congratulations and welcome to the family of winners here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. Talk about your race.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, first, talking about last week, I surprised myself. I haven't really done much oval experience. I've done quite a bit of oval mileage, but I've never been outright quick, and I wasn't expecting to do that well. I knew I'd be relying on my road course pace to keep me up in the standings, and I surprised myself with a P5 last week. Even if I wasn't top 10 on pace like I didn't think I was, I survived the chaos. I somehow got a bit lucky with one of the cautions and stayed on the lead lap, and it got me fifth. And I came in today wanting to maximize the result, and I knew my race pace would be better than my quali, so to get pole was a good sign. And I knew the best thing I can do for my championship is I wanted to lead as many laps as I could and not let anybody else lead laps to take points off them. And I achieved that today. I went super duper long on 2 sets of primaries, and then a nice 7-lap sprint on the alternates, and I saved all of my push to pass for those last 7 laps and burnt it all up. And I was loving it. It was nice, very slippery track in Mexico due to the altitude, and I love that because I like the low grip conditions, and it was really fun.
Talk about your experience on iRacing, what you normally drive, and what kind of drove you to be a participant on the IndyCar side of things here in the VOR IndyCar Championship. And on top of that, what IndyCar experience do you have, and is there anything that can help you now being a player now in the points after 2 races that can help you going forward in this championship? Seeing that definitely you got the roadside covered, but this is kind of an oval-centric league that kind of puts road course races on the side. You don't have as many road course opportunities here on the schedule. So, how is your experience in other formulas possibly going to help you out here on the IndyCar side of things? And when did you get involved in the IndyCar side of things?
I've been on iRacing for about a year now, and I just like driving everything. I like driving dirt. I like driving oval. I'm not necessarily the quickest on the oval side, but in terms of there being lots of ovals, I quite like that because it's a good opportunity to learn. Because I haven't been necessarily slow in quali, but one thing I do is I burn up my tires too quick on the ovals, and it's a good opportunity for me to learn long run pace. But I like driving all sorts of formulas, all sorts of sports cars. I do most of the special events, and I've done a few Indy oval races over the year, and I quite like it. And I wanted to join something competitive, and it's awesome here. I like just how many people there are. Like 33 last week and 28 this week on a road course, and it's super duper fun. I hope my goal for the season, if I am going to be any sort of contention for the championship, is I want to maximize my road course results like today, and then just trying to be consistent on ovals, just not getting involved in crashes, even if I can finish top 5, top 10 by just having a clean race. Even if I'm not that quick, that's the goal. That's the only way I'm going to be in this, because I don't have that raw pace on the oval. So yeah, it's awesome. I just had so much fun today.
What you mentioned the ovals and your concern there, and looking to maximize on the road courses, and we visit 3 road courses, but effectively we have 4 more rounds left. That they're going to be 2 sprint races at each of the next 2 road courses that we come to. Where's your learning curve on the ovals? Where you expect still needing to learn on the oval that is kind of what's really kind of stopping you from saying, hey man, I think I got a good handle on this championship now. It sounds like you're definitely still learning on the ovals. What makes learning for you on the oval your challenge?
Well, one of the things is, like at Auto Club, it's a flat lap in quali basically, and you put a lap down, you do what you think is the limit, and then suddenly there's somebody 2 tenths ahead of you, and you just wonder, where is that time? And I just need to learn to find that time, learn to be able to maximize the car, because I'm not I just don't have the experience of that, and that's why I want to learn. I want to be better at that.
Well, you are the 43rd different winner over 15 seasons here of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. First win this season. You're the first-time winner since Kostic won for his first race last season. Give you the shout-outs. Pretty much a dominant day, I believe. Unofficially, you got the Grand Slam. Typically give the microphone to the winner and give shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone I want to say hi to. Go right ahead. You certainly owned it. A dominant day here in Mexico City. Go right ahead.
Oh, I'll just say thank you to the family. Of course, it's quite a different time over here. I'm in New Zealand, and it's a nice, very hot Sunday morning, so I'm a bit sweaty, I'm a bit drenched, but yeah, thank you to the family for being able to provide me the opportunity to race on iRacing, and thank you to you guys for hosting the league, because it's awesome.
All right, Fraser, we will see you in 2 weeks when we get back to the Oval. I think you'll probably do reasonably well at Gateway. That lends itself to good road course racers, tight racetrack, different ends of the racetrack in terms of different radiuses. I think you'll do all right. We will see you when we get back to the Oval and Gateway here in about 2 weeks. So congratulations on the win, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
All right. I don't think we have an update in points yet. I'm not sure. Double check here just to be sure. Refresh the page one more time. No, we do not have an update in points. So we can't give you an update in points, but what are we thinking, Justin, at the end of this? I certainly think going into the next race, it's Clegg and Liam O'Sullivan probably 1, 2, not necessarily in that order, but 1, 2 going into the next race at Gateway. And certainly I think Gateway lends itself to the abilities of both of those drivers pretty well. And really, everything's wide open, because right after Gateway, then we go right back to the road courses, and a road course very familiar to a lot of the seasoned IndyCar drivers here at Road America, for 2 sprint races for rounds 4 and 5 back-to-back on January 31st. So leaving this venue, it's still all up for grabs in the championship, but we have ourselves a new player.
Yes, and Clegg at this point already showing some good consistency between the 2 tracks. Now the question is going to be, how will he fare out with a much more tighter oval compared to California, where it's more ever flowing with high speeds? It's going to be a lot about track position. Next time out, we'll have to see who's able to conquer it.
Well, that is going to be it from us. Once again, we'll bring the schedule up on the screen for you just to show you what we have coming up for the schedule of events. We are now 2 races into the championship. Next up, January 24th, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Then round 4 is really a double header there. We're going to do 2 12-lap sprints. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if we're going to need to do a pit stop in those. Then we got Kansas Speedway, then the 15th Indy 500 in February. Then we go to Richmond Sebring for back-to-back sprint races. And then we're going to wrap up with a pretty decent length race in Las Vegas. So still a lot of racing to go. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell so you don't miss out on future broadcasts when we go live here on the Velocity Online Racing channel. Well, let's get on out of here. Give everyone back their Saturday afternoons. Can't believe we're already to the weekend here, but that's it for today. Once again, your podium here for the inaugural running of the VOR Grand Prix of Mexico from Mexico City. Fraser Craig gets his first win here in the series, becoming the 43rd different driver to get a win here in Velocity Online Racing in the IndyCar Championship. His first win and his second start here in the series. Then we have Amon Lal, who did not have the best race, admittedly, in Fontana. He comes home and recovers well the second. That's going to help his points championship effort. And Luis Nunez, in his first start of the season, the former series champion, starts from pit road and comes all the way home in third. The good news for him is the penalty has been served, so he can now outright qualify, and we're going to see him up at the front, and he will be a player as this season continues. Join us again Saturday, January 24th as season 15 continues. We go just outside of St. Louis for the 8th running of the VOR Gateway 500K from Worldwide Technology Raceway. Coverage will start approximately 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 2:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, as always, for the correct time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/ well, just search online for Velocity Online Racing. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support us with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know without today's race. If you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders. Come miss out on more Velocity Online Racing's other iRacing coverage, including round 5 of season 29 of the long-running International IndyCar League from Texas Motor Speedway. Next race here on the channel starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on January 18th. If you like IndyCar racing, and we know you do, if you joined us today, then check out the International IndyCar League when it returns to the VOR channel on the 18th. To learn more about Velocity Online Racing and what they do, visit velocityonlineracing.com. But more importantly, like them on Facebook, and you can follow them on X and Instagram. So for the czar of the iRacing broadcast booth, the great Justin Prince, the General Howie Burrows on the board, and everyone here at Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Gatto saying, oh, happy Saturday. Thanks for watching, and all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here in 2 weeks at Gateway for the next race of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Championship. We'll see ya, and go Hoosiers.